Howdy guys, it's Luke
and Josh
at Geekgaming Scenics, and in this video, we're doing more on this.
We'll catch you after this. So guys, in the last video on this epic 40k board, you saw us cleaning up the terrain, getting that ready for painting, getting it all washed and all the tabs clipped off it. You saw Luke putting together the casting box for all the rubble piles that we're going to be doing using the flexible material. And you saw us planning the layout as well, making sure that we've got a decent looking board. Today, we're carrying on with the journey and showing you some more of the build.
I like how you say us, how us cut all the tabs off. I'm sure it was just you, and I come in at the end. But I'll take it, I've done more than he has. So to start this board, we're wanting to make a road system, and we're also wanting to add a bit of layer of foam because we're going to be going into that to add craters and things. How we mark off the roads and how we cut it so it's clean to the side of the board, we use a piece of MDF on top of the foam, so we know that we're cutting it 90 degrees. Once we've done that, we then cut out the base of it. Now, Hotwire Foam Factory, with the tools that they sent over, they also sent us this glue. Now, I'm always a bit funny with hobby glues, I never really trust what they say they do. However, this for foam is magic. You can cut it with a foam cutter and it's very, very sticky and it dries quickly. Then I started marking out the pathways and finishing off the work, and then I went to go get some wood for edging off this board, which didn't go so well. We broke down, but more on that later. Now let me tell you about this video's sponsor. This video's sponsor is Emma Sleep. Emma Sleeps have sent me over this bed with new divan and new mattress. Now, being a creative, rest is very important because a bad night's sleep's not great for you. But what I like about these beds from Emma Sleep, they're made in the UK, they're very simple and easy to put together. And we went for the divan bed for this because we need storage in his bedroom, and it's a lot slimmer than his old bed, so it actually gives us a bit more room in his bedroom. Now, I've had a lot of trouble sleeping over the last 6 years with the whole hobby and everything, but I got medicated for that recently, and I've been sleeping okay, but I've been waking up very rough. I've been waking up achy. I've been feeling very old, even though I'm not that old. Since getting this new bed and the new mattress, me and the pups have been sleeping like absolute babies. Don't just take my word for it, you can try it yourself with a 200-day return policy. They also add even further discounts using my links below. So give Emma Sleeps a try because it's definitely improved my night's sleep. Now, back to the video. So while we was broke down at the woodyard, I left Josh to be at work, and I'm guessing he's working very, very hard.
Now that we'd got the layout sorted for all the terrain and we knew where it was going to be going, we needed to start sticking it together. All I'm using for this is super glue and activator, just going around sticking on all the ledges for the upper floors and then the bits of wall segment on top of those and tidying them all up, getting them all stuck together so that they're ready to start painting. A few of the pieces needed a little bit more tidying up just to trim off some excess resin on the bottom so that they would go as flat as possible. And once all that was on, I started going around with a Dremel and just dirtying up and messying up some of those neat edges to make them look more like ruins. Now, I did put a mask on. I know in that first shot I didn't, but as soon as I realised how much dust this stuff gave off, I went and grabbed a mask. By this point, Luke had been gone for quite a while, and I was starting to wonder if he was ever coming back. Turns out he was still having no luck with the car. He was still stuck with his dad at the timber place. So I cracked on and carried on working on the board by myself. Now, I've been really looking forward to getting this terrain painted. It's absolutely gorgeous stuff, and I knew that once we got paint on it and picked out those details, it'd look even better. To paint it, I'm using a pretty simple technique that I showed off in a video over on my own channel. I'll put a link in the corner for that, where I'm using different rattle cans to create different blended zenithal effects on the sides of the terrain. So I'm starting out with a black primer and then going to a grey for the first zenithal, and then using a beige burn sort of colour for the final top highlight. All the cans that I'm using are from Colourforge. They are my absolute favourite cans to use, and they look absolutely fantastic. All that remained after I got that down was a quick dry brush to pick out those details and add a little more variety to the colours on the walls, and that was the bulk of the terrain done, with just the details left to do later on. But at this point, Luke had finally arrived back at the unit, so I think it's about time that he did some work.
So while the RIC got my dad to the garage, I came back to work to crack on. I'm using a bit of filler foam just to fill in all the undercut of the foam, which was a little bit shorter than the board. And now I'm using the polyurethane casting rubber. This is used in prosthetics. And I used the 70, which is like a tire consistency. This one was very firm, so I used this for the larger areas, but the 20 or 30 is far, far better for very undulated ground surfaces. Now, I used about 120 pounds worth of this rubber. It's not cheap, but my God, is it good. You'll see what it's like later.
While it was doing that, I was finishing off painting the terrain, adding in all the details like the crossbar, all the metal vents, all the lights and all that sort of stuff so that it was ready for the table.
While that rubber's drying, it's got quite a long pot life, so it will take about an hour to cure. I textured up all the concrete areas and all the paths. Now, I'm doing this with just some rolled up tinfoil because it is a very large area to do, but we got this all over and really ragged it and roughed it up. Once that rubber's dry, I get it out the mould and I get another pour in there. I need to get about 10-15 sheets of these done, ready for the next step. This stuff is very, very flexible. This is a 70 and it's very flexible in a large sheet, so it's good for covering large areas and it's still strong enough to stand models on if there's any voids or anything underneath it. However, if you're going to be putting it on very short, sharper areas, go with the 30 of the rubber. I'll put all links to it below, and it folds and it molds to anything you put it over. It's more like a skin consistency. Now, I marked out the paths to match the resin brickwork or pathways that they sent with the building, so it all matched up the same. I pre-mark all this out with a pen, and I didn't skip any meals in the making of this video. Using the hot wire foam tools, I went in there and scribed out all the pathways, and then to give it a final coat, because we are going to be painting a lot of this with spray cans as you've seen on the buildings, I add latex to a thick black paint. The reason I'm doing this is this will really seal and firm up the foam, and it'll also make it a lot more durable for gameplay. And you do this so it won't react with the spray cans, or if we're going to be using any super glue in any areas, and it just gives it a very grippy, solid surface to work on later. So guys, as you can see, all the base work's done now. Things start to come together very, very quickly after this. And as you can see, we've already started working on that. So tune in next time for more terrain goodiness. Goodiness.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working on this board. I can't wait to show you guys everything that we've done to tie all the individual pieces that we've prepped together to make this board.
Just gotta throw some muck about.
Pretty much just throwing muck about.
So if you want to support us, don't forget to check out the Patreon and you can get your names called out. We do vlogs, we do podcasts that you guys, the top supporters, get to see.
You also get access to the Geekgaming Scenics Discord, where you can tag me for miniatures questions or Luke for terrain questions, and we are at your disposable.
We're at your disposable income.
Yes.
Quite literally.
If you want to support us any other way, don't forget to check out Geekgaming Scenics for all your basing and terrain needs, and don't forget, Geekgaming Scenics is also available worldwide now, so if you help your local stores, it supports them whilst also supporting us.
It does, it really, really does. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the third and final instalment. Love, love, love.